Hi guys, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Monday, that means jazz. And today we're going to look at one of who was my son's favorite performers back in the late 80s. Swing, jazz. He's kind of defined a style that a lot of people have copied since, and we've talked about some of those. And today we're talking about Calloway. Cab had a big band, but he did a lot of tunes that I'm not even sure kind of jump and jive and swing as well. We've heard some of them very similar with what Johnson did back on the albums we looked at with him, Professor Bop and Return of the Brocaded Adventurer. A lot of the same tunes, you'll hear some of the same titles showing up on here. But I had a couple of albums. Probably my first one, and this was one of my favorites, was the I Love Jazz series. I've got it on cassette here, surprisingly. Let's see if I can get that in so you can see it. There you go. Calloway, Jump and Jive. It's kind of hard to get that in focus. You know what's hard? These small cassettes. This is why I didn't care for cassette. I love the albums. I'll just show you. Here's my cassette version. If I can get that in so you can see. You can read the titles. I'll tell you, I'm having a very tough time reading the performers on there. Look how fine that print is. It's so small I can hardly see it. What I can tell you is Doc Cheatham plays trumpet on a lot of it. One of the tunes, Dizzy Gillespie's playing on, and it's just an excellent band. Cab, for you younger people, you may remember him in the early 80s. He was part of the Blues Brothers movie. He had a scene at the end there where he sang a couple of tunes with the Blues Brothers band. Minnie the Moocher, one of the big ones. I mean, they sometimes call him the Heidi-Ho man. You know, Heidi-Ho. Big part of that at the end of the show. We'd also talked about him during the Doc Severinsen episode, where he was part of an ensemble or a super ensemble they put together there. I first became aware of him probably in the 70s, but by this time he wasn't putting out a lot of new material. I mean, he was popular back in the 30s and 40s, regular at the Cotton Club in New York City, and appeared in a lot of movies. Give you some idea what we've got on here. We know Doc Cheatham trumpet. We got Dizzy Gillespie on a couple of tunes. I'm going to try and read this, although it's kind of tiny, to give you some idea of what was on this album. But again, this was on the I Love Jazz series. Excuse me, we talked about that once before with Woody's Winners and the Woody Herman band. It was an excellent album they put together. Excuse me. And they do really well at cleaning up the recordings. It does not sound like an old recording. It sounds like it could have been just recorded, yesterday kind of thing. A very good, clean sound on it and excellent reproduction. Okay, Calloway and his orchestra, starting off with Jump and Jive. Now, covered that with Joe Jackson, right? He did the Jump and Jive album, and a few of these tunes were his. Nagasaki, Hoy Hoy, 2 Blocks Down, Turn to the Left, 15 Intermission. And that was just a little thing when they were going off. Time for a 15 intermission, boys. Chicken Ain't Nothing But a Bird. We covered that with Shocks Johnson. St. James Infirmary. That was on the other album I talked about with Doc Severinsen. And again, a classic jazz tune. I Want to Rock, the Calloway Boogie. Minnie the Moocher, probably the tune he's most remembered for, or most recognized for. Honey Dripper. Hey Now, Hey Now. And I called him that earlier, but he's got a song here entitled The Heidi-Ho Man. Oh Grandpa, Jungle King, and another one that showed up on Shocks' album, Everybody Eats When They Come to My House. So kind of swing, kind of jive, great band backing him up. And again, that I Love Jazz series was just excellent. Now, after that, I picked up a vinyl copy of another album, and this is Minnie the Moocher. Now, this one not so much modified or cleaned up. And a few different tunes than we've heard on the other one. Hey Now, Hey Now, on here again. How Big Can You Get? Duck Trot. I've Got You Under My Skin. Again, a very traditional song, not like the other ones we've been hearing Cab do. I Can't Give You Anything But Love, same thing. I mean, these are pretty traditional ballady type songs. Hard Times, I Pray For You, and Cruising with Cab. Second side, Minnie the Moocher, The Airmail Stomp, We Cats Shall Help You. Oh, We the Cats Shall Help You. I think that also showed up on, it was either Shocks Johnson or Louis Jordan's album. That was another one that did this kind of music as well. If you remember, we covered Louis Jordan quite a few weeks ago. Everybody Eats When They Come to My House. We have that back. Birth of the Blues, High Life, Blue Skies, and the Limehouse Blues. So not all jivey type jazzy tunes, but a few what I would call standards in here as well, just to kind of show the range that he had. If you haven't heard Cab Calloway, I mean, you're in for a treat. If you liked what Louis Jordan was doing, if you liked what we did with Shocks Johnson, that kind of music, Cab Calloway is kind of where it all began, and a great person to check out. So that's it today. In my collection, it was a cassette tape of Cab Calloway and Jumpin' Jive, and a vinyl copy of Cab Calloway's Minnie the Moocher. You'll have fun if you check them out. Streaming networks, always a good place to go. Hard copies available. He's just a classic performer and an essential element of the jazz scene and the jazz history. That's it for today. We'll see you on Wednesday when we'll be looking at another Canadian artist that certainly made his mark in the world. Till then, everybody take care, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.